I wanna all night. Say it. I wanna all night.
Hello, stranger. It's been a minute since we last kicked it. And by the way, just got in town, and I won't let cumulus clouds all in the sky ruin my vibe. Usually I don't do this often, but since recruiting isn't an option, due to unusual rain and thunder, baby I wonder, would you just put your sweats on me? Yeah. I got the plug, I made the call for me. I'm talking late night for ya. Let me lay a great time on ya. Don't hesitate, no, don't you? Just say you will. Come through and chill. Just say you will.
Every second, every minute, man, I swear that she can get it. Saying, you a bad bitch, put your hands up high. Hands up high, hands up high. Tell them turn the lights down right now. Put me in the mood. I'm talking about dark perfume. Go.
I recognize your fragrance. Hold up, you ain't never gotta say shit. And I know your taste is a little bit high maintenance. Everybody else basic. You live life on an everyday basis with poetic justice. Poetic justice. If I told you that a flower bloomed in a dark room, would you trust it? I mean, I write poems in these songs dedicated to you when you're in the mood for empathy. There's blood in my pen. Better yet, with your friends and them. I really wanna know you off. I really wanna show you off. Fuck that, pour up plenty of champagne. Cold nights when you curse this name. You called up your girlfriends and y'all curled in that little bitty range. I heard that she wanna go and party. She wanna go and party. Nigga don't approach her with that Atari. Nigga that ain't good game home is sorry. They say conversation rule a nation. I can tell, but I could never right my wrongs unless I write it down for real. P.S. You can get it, you can get it, you can get it.
Yo, it feels good to be back. What's good? What's good, y'all? Welcome to the SC Experience, aka your boy Eric, man, and we back. Back. It's been, it's been a minute. I ain't gonna lie, it's been a minute. I don't even know the date. Probably 2 weeks. It's probably been 2 weeks, man. But shout out to everybody, man. Hopefully, everybody has had a blessed 2 weeks since I've been gone, and just blessings to everybody and their families, man. I appreciate you guys for being here as well. Um, yeah, I'm back. There wasn't too much to talk about, so I kind of laid low, and then I kind of was busy, so I was focusing on that. Besides that, you know, I try to, think about my mental health better, but sometimes taking a break is good, and I know I've taken a lot of breaks technically, but honestly, it's just because be busy with the personal stuff and other things like that. But we're back. The news has been like a little bit low, and I didn't want to really put out anything that wouldn't make any sense. So I was just waiting and waiting and waiting, and I waited till the Derek Carr news came out because I think that was one of the most important things I was waiting for, and that's what happened. That's what happened. So we're gonna talk about the quarterback. You feel me? We're gonna talk about the quarterback situation, a bunch of news surrounding the Raiders, and a lot of scenarios that could go about this in general. But make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, man. We're on the road to 2,000, and also, man, make sure to spread the word to get more people in here. But shout out to everybody that's so far in here. I've been a little bit lacking on live, so yeah. I gotta be consistent with this though. We gonna be back though. We gonna be consistent now. Not practically every day, but it's gonna go back to how it was. I'm not gonna take no 14 days off no more or any of that. Shout out to Robert Pena. What's good, yo, Eric? Salute, brother. What's good? What's good, Arkham? Welcome back, Eric. Hope you're doing well, brother. Yes, I am doing well. Hope you're doing well as well. Shout out to Farhad. Salute, Eric. Salute, chat. Salute to you as well. Let me see. Shout out to Cool Kev. All lies. What's good? He said, who this? Shout out to Ray Love. What's good, Ray Love? We will win this upcoming season because Mark Davis got a new haircut looking like Lex Luthor. Did he really get it? I don't even know if he got hair. Does he even have hair anymore? Shout out to Bourbon Country Raider. Bourbon's in the building. What's good, Bourbon? Shout out to Primos. Welcome back, Eric. Hope everything is well. Salute to the chat. Hope CJ Stroud is the future. We'll see, man. We'll see. We'll talk about it. Shout out to everybody that is in here. Let me see. Shout out to Robert Pena. What's good? What's good? EJ. Salute to you. Salute to you. Thank you for being here, Eric. Shout out to Sean Johnson. Salute, Eric. So much options at quarterback. We would have upward of money, 80 point million in cap space if we make the right restructures and cut players. Plus, we have 11 draft picks for this 2023 draft. Let's get it. Yeah, we got a lot to work with. We got a lot to work with. Um, let me see. Hope you're doing well as well. I appreciate that, pretty well. Shout out to everybody that's in here, man. You hear Nightbot, man. Stack them up. Hit that like button, man. Subscribe if you're new. He said Eric came off the milk carton to make a guest appearance. Shout out to Big Worm. What's good, Big Worm? Good to see you. Hope all is well. Let me see. Shout out to Brad Laps in the building. What's good? What's good? I'm gonna let more people come on by. I know people are kind of not expecting me to go live at all because it's been so long. But hopefully more people join and see that I'm live. But shout out to everybody, like I said, for being here. So yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks is crazy, and I think it is 2 weeks actually. Let me actually check. I want to see the exact days. Let me see. Let me see. Where can I see this? Oh, hold on. Let's go here. Let's go here. Let's go here. Damn, it's been 13 days. So yeah, it has been about 2 weeks. That's crazy. I didn't even know I took that long of a break. I thought it was less than that. Time flies though. Time flies. And it's officially, um, how do I say this? It's officially the start of the new season. Well, not officially technically, because in March it's official. But for me, official is after the Super Bowl, which the Super Bowl, by the way, fuck the Chiefs. This is crazy. I don't even know how the fuck. Yo, let's talk about that. Huh? The end of the 2022-23 NFL season recap, man. It was a hell of a ride, and what I mean is, it was a hell of a decline. I didn't expect the Raiders to go that way. I don't think anybody did. The Raiders were probably one of the teams that had high expectations and ended up uh, underachieving heavily. Um, with all the talent they brought in, at the end of the day, regardless of what a lot of us say, we had the talent going into the season. We just couldn't execute with that talent. And that's where I fall in the train, right? Some people say that we didn't have enough talent. Other people say we had enough talent. And then there's another side that says we still got a lot of things to work with. Um, for me, I'm more of in the off season. If you go back to the 2021 to 2022, leading up to 2022 off season, where we got Devontae Adams, where we got all these pieces. When you really look at every single content creator's lives in the off season last year, you'll see that a lot of us were breaking down the people we brought in, and a lot of people in the chat as well. And what you see at a consistent basis is that these guys were talent. These guys were talented players that could play in the system that we brought in. Now we go into the season. It's one thing to look at it during the practice and OTAs, and there's another thing to look at it from a standpoint of this is how it looks on paper, but it's another thing on the field. And what we're seeing on the field is a lot of miscommunication in the first few weeks. We've seen a lot of bad reads. We've seen a lot of injuries happen. We've seen a lot of stuff that we didn't expect to happen. The injuries, they always happen to every team. But when it comes to the talent standpoint and the way they were going to be utilized, we thought they would have been utilized better. We thought that a lot of these players would have been playing better. I mean, 90, I would say a good 98% of the fan base thought that Derek Carr was going to be an MVP this season just because of all the different uh collective um unit that the offense had. You know, you brought in a Carmen Brasillo that was one of the top 10 offensive lineman coach, and the offensive line kept rotating and didn't look too well. Derek Carr looked like he was struggling communicating with his receivers and communicating with the tight end and being on the same page as Josh McDaniels and um, learning a complex system. You've seen Hunter Renfro go down with the concussion. You've seen Darren Waller get injured, and even when they were healthy, you didn't see them on the same page. Hunter Renfro ran into um, Devontae Adams that one when he was supposed to run a post. And Devontae was running an out route, and instead you seen them collide. You seen the miscommunication between Matt Collins and Derek Carr. You seen the miscommunication between a lot of these players, and you just seen everybody out of sync. And then when you go on the defense, when the pass rush wasn't totally there in more than 75% of the season. It was practically Max Crosby, and then the DTs were nowhere to be found, and Chandler Jones was non-existent for a very long period of time. And this shows you that it's one thing on paper, but it's another thing to execute it on the field. And a lot of these players, a lot of these coaches couldn't execute in general. So that all had to fall into the season, and you see it right. The coaching staff and the organization is starting to cut down on certain things, right? One of the most notable cut downs was Derek Carr, right? Derek Carr, 9 years in the league, only made it to the playoffs twice. One of them he didn't even get to start because of injury. Um, and it was a tough ride for Derek Carr. You know, a lot of offensive coordinators, a lot of head coaches, a lot of systems to work with, and he just didn't work with this system. What I understand from the season is that when a new regime comes in, when a new organization comes in, right? When a new regime comes in, when a new coaching staff comes in, every player is at a clean slate. It doesn't matter what you did a couple years ago. It doesn't matter what you did last year. It doesn't matter what you did a couple weeks ago. Once that season starts with the new regime, you as a player needs to step it up and prove that you deserve to be on the team. And Derek Carr was just one of them that did not prove at all that he could stay on the team. For me, I think that the complex system and a lot of people were at fault, but most importantly, it does not matter. At the end of the day, he didn't help himself, and I understood that after a while, right? Derek Carr didn't help his case, right? He had a case there, and he didn't help his case, right? And the Steeler game was a perfect example of that, and other games as well, where he didn't fully execute. Right? These are the plays that he didn't make this year are usually plays that he usually makes, and it's crazy, right? Another person I put at fault it is the coaching staff, right? Because like I said, when you could go back, I'm pretty sure nobody has deleted their lives. If you go on to any Raider content creator last offseason and go look at the free agency, mine was listed as the SC Morning Hours free agency or something. If you go look at those certain lives, right, you will see that we broke down the pros and cons of every player we brought in, everywhere from Jayon Brown to even the people we had on the list. Uh, you've seen a lot of good talent coming in. And this is where I bring in the coaching staff at fault. At the end of the day, I'm one of those people that I want Josh McDaniels to prove me wrong. And I want him to succeed because if he succeeds, the Raiders succeed. But in my opinion, Josh McDaniels hasn't shown me anything but the same thing he did with the Denver Broncos. The only difference between the Denver Broncos and the Raiders is that the Raiders, he was going into a team that already made the playoffs, regardless of how people feel how we made it. We still were one possession away from from beating the Super Bowl runner ups, and on top of that, we had one tragedy happen last year. You could say two technically with the Gruden and Ruggs situation, and we still made the playoffs. That showed that as long as you have people playing for each other and playing for the coach, you will see a significant impact. And this year, it just looked like a lot of players were just not on the same wavelength, right? You've seen people like Hankins go. You've seen people like Jonathan Abram go. Derek Carr just got released. All these players are players that were here last year, right? And I guess the regime and them were not on the same page at all. And you see it throughout the season, right? You see it with articles. You see it throughout that even Derek Carr was not on the same page. And in reality, a lot of the locker room was half and half. And it's crazy to me, you know. It it sucks because we knew that this team was capable of more and they underachieved heavily, right? Saludos Jaime. What's good, Jaime? Um but shout out to Raider Way as well. Was good Raider Way. But in reality, they just underachieved. That's if I were to describe this season, it's underachieving. Will we have a better next year? I hope so, and I do have a lot of optimism, and I do have a lot of a positive outlook in what we got going on because on paper right now, all we could do is go off of paper right now, right? Free agency doesn't start till later on in a month. Yeah, the draft doesn't start till 2 months from now. So we could only go based on paper. And right now, the paper says we have the third most cap space, and we could still restructure people. We still have a lot of draft picks. So there's a lot of things to work with. And that's the thing right away. And that leads me to the next right. At this pace, I don't want these guys to go. Devontae Adams has a big, I guess you could say, a big grasp on who the next quarterback is. At the end of the day, the reason Devontae Adams stayed, one of the biggest reasons, is because at the end of the day, he has a say in the next quarterback. That was the selling point that Dave Ziegler and Josh McDaniels gave Adams. Hey, you could help us in the quarterback interview type of phase. And that's exactly what's happening. That's what Adams is staying. When you look at Crosby's on contract regardless. And Jacobs is an interesting topic, right? What does Jacobs want to do? Does Jacobs want to come back to the silver and black and at least play for a little bit less than what he deserves? Or is he going to go test the market and go see if there's somebody else out there that would pay him a lot more and a more solidified team? A team that I'm really scared of that not Josh McDaniels, Josh Jacobs could go to is the Buffalo Bills. The reason being the Buffalo Bills are literally a running back away, I believe, from really causing some havoc in the playoffs. When you have a Josh Jacobs in the Buffalo Bills, it's like, and they have the money for it. It's a lot of things to think about, right? There's a lot of other teams that would have a lot of interest in Josh Jacobs. It just comes down to not what the teams want, but what Josh Jacobs want. At the end of the day, it's all up to Josh Jacobs. What does he want to do? And I believe that he will stay in the silver and black. I think Jacobs wants to be in the silver and black. I think he's ready to sit down and have a conversation, but there's a lot of mixed reports, and that's why I don't really say anything until a lot of reports come out, right? And a lot of reports have happened in the last 2 weeks, a lot, regarding a lot of these players, regarding the silver and black, regarding Derek Carr, regarding Aaron Rodgers, regarding all these different people that are surrounding the Raiders in general. So a lot of things that people were bringing up, and I see Sean Johnson putting it there, is that the franchise tag. The franchise tag is interesting, right? In my opinion, I don't think that Josh Jacobs wants to play on a franchise tag. In my opinion, I think he will try to say, "Hey, let's sit down, let's have a conversation, let's get a contract because I am not playing as a I'm not playing on the franchise tag, which is understandable. I mean, Josh Jacobs is the best back, if not the best back last year, and people may disagree, but at the end of the day, his numbers show. Um, and if not top running back, he's top three easily. So in a lot of cases, you got to kind of look at all of this and try to take everything into account. Route anything is on anything, anything is possible. Anybody could come and go. I mean, I'm never gonna say that it's 100% not gonna happen with any of these players. We've seen it before. They're willing to get rid of rookie contracts. They're willing to get rid of people that could give them a cap hit of a couple million. They don't care. If you ain't on their list of keeping, they're sending you the fuck out of here. And that's just what this regime has shown on constant basis since they became a regime together this year. They got rid of Abrams that was on the rookie contract. They got rid of Hankins that took a little bit of a cap hit. They took Derek Carr out, and he gave us a little bit of a 5 million cap hit, which is not bad. But at the end of the day, they're willing to get rid of anybody, and that's what they showed me. Let me see. Ziggler needs to hit a home run off season. His buddy McDaniels is already on the hot seat. That's exactly right. And I believe in Ziggler more than I do in McDaniels. I think Dave Ziggler has done a good job drafting and what he has been, the way he utilized these draft picks. I mean, the way he's aggressive, right? And what I mean by aggressive is last year, I even called it. I knew they were going to trade up. They traded up to get the player they wanted, and then they traded back to the position where they traded up from. Like, what? He literally just played chess, not checkers, bro. Like he literally played chess, bro, and he succeeded in it. And he did that with Devontae Adams. Who would have known you would have got the top receiver in the first and second pick, and that's all it took. Like Ziggler has shown me a lot. Parham has been pretty good. Thayer Mudford has a future. Zamir White needs a little bit of more rest. Brendan Brown, that's a 7th round pick. To me, I'm like, whatever's about him. But Ziggler's moves have been pretty damn good. It's not his fault that they didn't work out with the team because that's more of the coaching staff. The coaching staff preached all off season about how it's always about putting the players' strengths first and putting them in the position to win and all this stuff. And in reality, the defense, the way they were set up, was a lot of 15 yards back that Gus Bradley ran. The only difference is that we didn't run a lot of cover three compared to Gus Bradley. Shout out to Shad Schrader. What's good, man? Shout out to K Hop. What's good? Arkham says, Eric, do you see Parham taking Andre's spot as starting center? I don't think so. I always said this about Dylan Parham. I like him better as a guard. Can he play the center position if needed? Yeah, definitely. If Andre James, God forbid, goes down, you would see Parham at the center position. But I think Parham's best position, and I've been saying this since he got drafted, is the guard position. I think the guard position is the best capable, right? What are some options if Aaron Rodgers doesn't get traded to the Raiders? What should be the Raiders' next move? Actually, I had that on my list here. Let's actually go by it quickly, real quick. Let's go by it. Derek Carr has been officially released. I know you guys seen the news. He has been officially released, and if you look at my thumbnail real quick, you'll see verses. Why I put verses and why I put Derek Carr with the Saints, and then like a little bit of a trade little icon on the left, and then you see release on the right. The reason I put this is because I see a lot of people that are split on why Derek Carr declined not going anywhere. At the end of the day, I have three things to say about that. Number one, we shouldn't be mad. We expected, let's be honest, I expected him to be released most likely. Like, I knew there wasn't going to be a trade that goes down because the Raiders kind of showed their hand. And what I mean by showed their hand is that they gave Derek Carr the ability to take over on what he wants to do. Right? If you know what I mean. Like, they gave him a no trade clause. They practically said, Derek Carr, it's in your hands. You take it over. And they gave Derek Carr more power in this, right? But on a second note, with Derek Carr, he thinks he deserves more money than what he would have gone if he would have gone to the Saints and the whole trade would have happened. Um, and it's understandable. The guy wants to get paid. Hey, and his better option is to go out and explore the market and see who wants him for what price and let the teams play and let the teams bid. Which, hey, go ahead. I mean, I a lot of free agents do this. It's nothing normal. I mean, it's nothing out of the ordinary. And number three, I don't know why people are mad that he declined it. I see people even more mad saying that he did the Raider Nation wrong and all this stuff and blah blah blah. At the end of the day, if we have somebody to blame, it's Dave Ziegler for giving him and Josh McDaniels and giving him the power to accept where he wants to go or what he wants to do. And that's exactly what it was. That no trade clause gave him the power, and he took advantage of it. He'd rather go to free agency. At the end of the day, regardless, we got money, so I ain't mad about it. We still got the money. We still got the cap space. We got the third best cap space, I believe. So I ain't mad. I'm cool with the cap space. If I'm being honest, I'm cool with the cap space. I don't know about y'all. I'm happy with the cap space, and there's still a lot of players that you could restructure. And I even had it on a slide 2 lives ago. You could restructure Chandler Jones and Colton Miller, and you seen that you'll still open up about 12.5 million. Like, there's a lot of ways to restructure right now. You could restructure a lot of these guys, but I think the most realistic is Chandler Jones being restructured, and restructuring him is gonna give you a lot of dollars, man. I'll tell you that. So, you know, let me see. Shout out to Omar Juarez in the building. What's good? What's good? And if you guys can't hit that like button, man, I appreciate the 32 people in here, man. Shout out to Charm City in the building. Shout out to Terrence. What's good, Terrence? What up, Terrence? Good to see you. Yes, Eric, you're absolutely right. I just rather have the Raiders have money to be used on the defense. More power to Carr. I just wanted the Raiders to. Hey, we got the money, man. Yeah, that no trade clause is what handicapped the team as far as the receiving draft capital. Yeah, it handicapped them. Omar, there's the perfect word right there, bro. They handicapped them. They gave Derek Carr the power, and it is what it is, right? At the end of the day, this is a fucking business. This ain't no uh rainbows and sunshines. This is a goddamn business. It's a cruel goddamn business, bro. It's a cruel business. Sometimes you got to make the biggest moves to gain the biggest, it's not skills. How do I say this better? High risk, high reward type deals, right? In order to gain a lot, you got to give a lot. And that's what this business in the NFL is. Look at the Kansas City Chiefs. They just won the Super Bowl, right? Remember when we were talking shit about Kansas City and how bad they're gonna that Tyreek Hill is a big blow to their offense? You know what they did? And Tyron Matthew, the honey badger, leaving. Remember um how much we were going after them? I was for sure going after him. I was like, there's no way the Chiefs win this division, bro. I was like, I mean, I was one of those people that still said don't underestimate the 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 Kansas City Chiefs, but I still said that the Raiders should have won on paper the AFC West. But there was in the back of my mind that Kansas City has ruled the AFC West for a very long time, so it kind of made that we have to take them out of the pedestal, right? So the Kansas City Chiefs got rid of one of their best players on offense and one of their best players on defense. And what did they do with all that money? They brought in younger players, they drafted, and they built up all the holes they had, they covered them up. They got rid of one of the best receivers in the NFL, one of the best safeties in the NFL, and they still made the Super Bowl and won this shit. It is crazy. That shows you what a coaching staff could do with talent. Andy Reid, as much as fuck the Chiefs, bro, you gotta give Andy Reid some goddamn credit, bro, for what he has been capable of. And at the end of the day, fuck Kermit the Frog, but at the end of the day, bro, we're in a division that has three tough quarterbacks, man. And like I said a little bit earlier, Derek Carr, he didn't live up to the expectations. He he's supposed every player, and this goes for every player on the team, needs to show up when a new regime comes in. It doesn't matter what you did in 2016, doesn't matter what you did in 2014, doesn't matter what you did in 2015, 2016, 2017. Well, three tough quarterbacks as far as on paper, Terrence. And what I'm saying is that when you look at these quarterbacks, right? Justin Herbert still be performing, which I think Justin Herbert might go down because Keenan Allen is a big, big, big part of that offense. And I heard that Keenan Allen is a big cap hit. So they might get rid of Keenan Allen. So that's already one of their number one receivers gone. So that's a big blow to them. And the chokers always choke. They always choke. So that's another thing too. And they kept Brandon Staley. So who knows what the fuck gonna happen over there. But what I'm saying is that we still gotta see how Russell Wilson goes with Sean Payton. Because I do think that Sean Payton brings a different dimension, a different atmosphere to a team. As much as I hate the Broncos, Sean Payton has been one of my favorite coaches to look at outside of the Raiders, right? You know, I for sure never rooted for him, but he's one of those coaches that I respect, right? Just like I respect Doug Peterson. I respect Mike Tomlin. These are coaches that don't get too much respect because they're pushed away from the Andy Reids of the world and the Bill Belichick's of the world. Um, but besides that, I do think back to the Derek Carr thing. Um, he didn't execute, and that's what it came down to. Him not executing didn't help his case, and he's gone. That gives us a lot of millions. We got a lot of millions in our bank account, and we're third best in cap space, so I'm good with it. I'm good with it. Released, me. I have nothing bad. I'm one of those guys that has nothing bad to say about Derek Carr. Thank you for 9 years, but it's time to move on. If you look at the bottom of the thumbnail, it's the end of the era, man. It's the start of the new era, and I'm excited to see what this new era will bring us and what it's gonna bring. But I hope it's for the better because I'm tired of losing the last 20 years of my goddamn life. That's practically my whole lifetime. We've been absolutely shit. Coach after coach not succeeding. Quarterback after quarterback after quarterback after quarterback after quarterback after quarterback after quarterback. I have to go for 18 more fucking times. Um, and that's why when people ask me, SC, does Derek Carr leaving affect you? And I say, fuck no. Why doesn't it affect me? I've seen 18 quarterbacks come and go, bro. It ain't no fucking different, bro. I, it ain't no different to me. And shout out to the NWA, man. Shout out to the NWA. You already know I see everybody spamming it. But it's a new era for a lot of optimism, right? The last 9 years we've been kind of the same under center. Now it's time for something new. What can we do? We'll talk about it right now. And this leads me to my next point. Wait, before I even say anything, let me give a shout out to everybody here. Shout out to El Capitan Rafael, Raider Ben. Was good, Ben? Good to see you, brother. Hope all is well. Shout out to Rod Gas in the building. Shout out to Desert Raider. What's good, Desert Raider? Good to see you guys. Hope all is well. If you guys can hit that like button for me. Let me see who else is in here. If I skipped anybody, shout out to Charm City. Rudy Chavez was good. Good to see everybody. Hope all is well. And yeah, um, hey, Rudy Chavez. We should have been 11-6, and we underachieved, man. So let's go on to the next thing. The asking price for Aaron Rodgers is high. People believe that a first rounder has to be in there, and that already makes me get the fuck away. I am not giving a first rounder for fucking Aaron Rodgers, bro. This when anybody asks me, do you really want Aaron Rodgers? Do all the signs say Aaron Rodgers? Yeah. A lot of the signs that we're getting from the media to the tweets to Adams to what the players have been saying, it has been leading up to Aaron Rodgers. But you know what else was leading up to somebody else? Was Tom Brady. And Tom Brady retired. So at the end of the day, I'm pushing back. I'm not going for Rodgers. But this leaves me to what would be your guys' plan B and C? It's a tough little situation we're in. Because we have the 7th pick. Can CJ Stroud fall that far? Yes, he can. If you look at let's actually look at the NFL draft order, and I'll tell you, and shout out to the Senior Bowl. I didn't get to do the Senior Bowl, um, because I had a lot of things to do. but a lot of people did impress me at the Senior Bowl. And actually, I have a list already. I was watching the Senior Bowl through my phone because I was actually not home. Let me actually see. Let me look at my list. There was a lot of good players that I seen, a lot of players that I had on my list prior, and they look really good. Where do I have to go for my list? I'm on fucking. Is it custom? I'm sorry. Oh, here we go. So the Marvin Overshone from Tennessee, I like him a lot. From the Longhorns, I'm sorry, the Longhorns. I seen JL Skinner from Boise State, the safety. I like them a lot. Ronnie Bell from Michigan was somebody I talked about that I actually drafted in my first official mock draft. Some other people that impressed me. Let me see my list. I had a lot of people, but I'm just breaking down some of the ones that really were highlighted. Derek Carr from Auburn. I like Will McDonald, the fifth from Iowa State, I believe, or Minnesota. I think Minnesota. Tajee Spears, the running back from I'm very familiar with from the Bowling Green. That beat my USC single handedly. Tajee Spears is really good running back, a power back there. Rashahi Rice, Rashad Rice from SMU. I really like some of the offensive lineman prospects from Osiris Torrance, the guard from Florida. Darnell Wright, the tackle from Tennessee. I also like the cut of Gerald Clark that I actually drafted, the nose tackle out of the Bowling Green. I like them a lot. Or I think for Coastal Carolina, I'm sorry. Um, Isaiah Foskey, Andre Carter the second. There's a couple other guys, man. And if you're not familiar with these guys, I will, like I said, I'm gonna start being consistent. I'm gonna come back to film study. We're gonna do the starting to do the player film study of each draft prospect. I'm gonna have a community post later on to see what players would you guys would like to see me do a film study on, and we'll break it down. I don't know if I'm gonna do a video or a live. Some people said I should start doing videos, so I think videos might be the way to go. Me breaking it down, dropping it as a video, having it in the back pocket. I don't know if you guys would be cool with the video or you guys would rather do it live. I'm also gonna put a poll up on a community post to see if you guys would rather have a live of me breaking it down or a video. Um, but yeah, so now the plan B and C, right? There's a lot of things. Shout out to Pyro in the building. Reeps is in the building. Was good. Good to see you guys, man. I hope all is well. Who's this new kid on the block? Shout out to you, man. As much as it hurts, Jimmy G is the short term answer. Stroud is trash. Ooh, okay, okay. Um, Jimmy G is injury prone. That is a big risk. Anthony Richardson. I'll talk a little bit about Anthony Richardson. I'll do a film study on Anthony Richardson because I see a lot of people talk about him. Anthony Richardson is one of those guys that's getting a lot of media attention that is elevating him to go into the first round. A lot of these quarterbacks that don't deserve to be in the first round get picked in the first round. In my opinion, I believe Will Levis and Anthony Richardson are both second, third round talent. I don't think they're first round talent. At the end of the day, Will Levis is one of those guys that you're banking on potential. You're drafting for potential. And you may say that goes for the whole draft, right? But what I mean is Will Levis compared to the other quarterbacks is more of a potential guy. A lot of people say that they compare him to Josh Allen. The only thing I see from Josh Allen that from him is that he's a big body quarterback that has a strong arm. When you look at his accuracy, when you look at his decision making, it's one of the worst when you really break it down. A lot of the throws he makes are under 10 yards. And that's been a problem with Will Levis and Kentucky. And Kentucky did have a big blow to their offense, though. So I don't discredit him on that standpoint because he did lose his best receiver. He lost his offensive line, but he does have a lot of potential because, how do I say this? He does have a lot of potential because he's been in an NFL system. His last two offenses that he's been in has been NFL coaches, has been NFL uh, people that have been in the NFL. So there's that elevates him in a positive. The cons for me is practically the decision making, and I think that drops him out of the first round. I don't even think he's first round. I don't even think he's beginning second round. If you want me to give you an honest opinion about Levis, it I would say early third, where I would choose him as early third. I think early third, mid third, late third for me for Will Levis. For Anthony Richardson, he's more of that second round for me, late second round. Why late second round is because he makes more plays than Will Levis. But the problem is that do you want a mobile quarterback? When I think of Anthony Richardson, I think of Lamar Jackson, but less than Lamar Jackson. What I mean is Lamar Jackson makes more throws than Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson is a elite runner, an elite running quarterback. When he takes off with the feet, he's taking off. But I do believe that CJ Stroud and Bryce Young are the two quarterbacks that are NFL ready to start day one. CJ Stroud, I like Bryce Young a lot. I started liking Bryce Young a lot towards the end. Um, Bryce Young is one of those guys that I kind of went away from, but then I seen that he looked pretty damn good in the games towards the end. CJ Stroud is one of those guys that could really, I think, move better than Bryce Young. I think they both have the accuracy. I think they're both NFL ready. The question is, does the size matter? And pause on that. Pause. But what I mean is the 6 foot Bryce Young, or I believe CJ Stroud is taller. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and CJ Stroud is 6'3". It depends what you want, right? Bryce Young is smaller than CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud is 6'3", and Bryce Young is 6 foot. That's a big difference of what you want to do, right? At the end of the day, they're good quarterbacks that have been 6 foot. Drew Brees was 6 foot, and I thought Drew Brees was taller, but then I realized that Drew Brees was 6 foot. Kyler Murray is small. CJ Stroud is 6'3", which you know, and that's what I'm saying, Ben. Like Richardson is Lamar Jackson, but less than Lamar Jackson when it comes to accuracy and when it comes to throwing. Um, that's why I don't see really the hype. I think that people get too entitled and this guy's a mobile quarterback. Fuck yeah, this is where the league is going. But at the end of the day, I think that this league is going in the direction of more, and it's kind of like the NBA, right? You're starting to see Jokic, a center, shooting threes. You didn't see that back then a lot at all. You didn't see Kareem pulling from half court as a center. And it's the same thing as the NFL. We were so used to Tom Brady, right? Tom Brady, for example, and you had your Steve Youngs of the world that were mobile and too, but you didn't see too much of it. And now you see a lot of these guys being more capable of doing more. Even the receivers. Now you got receivers playing as a running back, like Cordell Patterson, running back slash receiver on a consistent basis. You're starting to see Darren Waller, a tight end that's playing a receiver and doing both positions. You're seeing quarterbacks even play receivers sometimes. You're seeing a quarterback run with the ball more often than before. A lot of it has to do with players starting to elevate their game. They're starting to get more abilities. They're trying to gain more skills, and the practice makes perfect has been starting to come about with a lot of the players. So I think that we fall into a hole of we're so used to Derek Carr not being too mobile that we forcefully think that every mobile quarterback is already better. I don't think that way. I think in the way of I need this quarterback to really have all the check marks of a quarterback. And one of the most important things of a quarterback is the accuracy, the decision making. I think that's top two. Then the ability to get to extend a play. That's number three for me. I think the first two is decision making, the accuracy, and then the ability to extend plays, and then the ability to notice that. So I think that that's my check mark on the list. And when you look at Will Levis, he check marks the extended plays. He check marks number 3 and 4, but he doesn't check mark number 1 or 2. Anthony Richardson check marks 3 and 4, but doesn't check mark 1 and 2. CJ Stroud check marks 1, 2, 3, and 4. Bryce Young checks marks 1, 2, 3, and 4. But at the end of the day, that doesn't guarantee that CJ Stroud and Bryce Young are both gonna be the next big thing, right? That doesn't mean it's gonna be the next big thing at all. And that doesn't mean that's gonna be the next big thing. I can't guarantee that CJ Stroud and Bryce Young will be the next Tom Brady or anything. I could only say that they're off of what I've seen from college film is that they're both NFL ready. I think Will Levis needs to sit behind somebody for a year, and I think he's ready to go learn, and learn. I think AR-15 is another one that needs to sit behind somebody, right? Draft AR-15. He has a high ceiling of any quarterback in this draft. I think Will Levis has more of a ceiling, but I do think that AR-15 needs to sit behind somebody. I think both Will Levis and AR-15 needs to sit behind somebody. And there's a lot of underrated quarterbacks that are that people aren't even talking about. I like Tanner McNee from Stanford. Um, he's a quarterback I was looking at. That I enjoyed watching him play, even though he didn't get the spotlight. You know, and there's other quarterbacks in the draft, right? What do you want to do with Hendon Hooker with the injury? He's on the older side. What do you want to do with Max Duggan, another guy that's on the older side? There's a lot of quarterbacks in this draft that um could be capable of doing something in the NFL. It's just the problem is the injury concerns and a few the age concerns and what would you expect, right? Um, why are some fans so high? Let me see. Why are some rated fans so high on Anthony Richardson? I think what it is his ability to extend plays. That's what grasps a lot of people, and something that he also has is the throw power, but the throw power sometimes costs them a couple of interceptions. The reason being is that when you look at AR-15 play, sometimes he leaves too much of a hang time in his throws that causes the cornerback to make plays. So that's what it is at the end of the day. Shout out to Chaos. Bryce Young is going to get laid out by Max Crosby. Bryce Young most likely will go number one, and he will most likely or number two, and he might most likely go to the Texans or something. It just depends, right? Because here's the thing. Here's the thing with it is that when you look at who's in front of the of the Raiders, right? You got Chicago, you got Houston, you got the Cardinals, the Colts, Denver, Rams, and the Raiders, right? Oh, I mean, the Seattle, then Detroit. Sorry, that Denver and Rams had that pick, and then they traded it. When you look at Chicago, in my opinion, it might be the same thing as last year, where a defensive player will be picked number one. I do believe as of right now, Will Anderson or Jalen Carter might go number one. And I think Will Anderson will be the most likely going number one to the Chicago Bears, leaving Bryce Young to Houston, leaving I believe uh Jalen Carter could go to the Arizona Cardinals. You could see the Arizona Cardinals pull a trigger on a maybe a Peter Orlovsky from Northwestern. You could see them pull an offensive line in the top five. You could see the Colts draft a quarterback. They might be one of those people that might be the people to bite on a Will Levis. Because at the end of the day, I could talk about Will Levis all I want, but how do I say this? Shout out to Dirty Low. You see that a lot of organizations have different players on different draft boards on different levels, right? Somebody may have Levis like me. I have Levis in the third, in the late second, early third, and then you see another organization like the Colts put Will Levis at top 10. So it all depends, right? Trayvon Walker last year, all last year was we knew who was going to be number one. It was Hutchinson. The week of the NFL draft, Trayvon Walker went from here in the draft board to just zoom his ass up to number one. And boom, was the number one pick out of a sudden. It shocked me. It didn't shock me because I know the day of, all they talked about was Trayvon Walker being number one. But all offseason, it was Aiden Hutchinson, Thibodeau. Who's going to be the better player? Who's going to be this? Who's going to be that? And goddamn, that was Trayvon Walker came out of a sudden and went up. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't do too many mock drafts now, because I feel like a lot of things are going to change. I think draft picks are going to change. I think players are going to do change. I think the combine, pro day, senior bowl does a lot to do with draft stocks. I think that looking at more and more film, you understand more of the player. And then you start to see the media hype a certain player up or no hype. And some organizations go for the hype, some don't. You wonder why Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold were chosen over other quarterbacks that have been better than them. Is because they had the same pros and cons as similar to Will Levis, where the hype was there. Oh, these guys are strong arm. These guys are big body. Oh, these guys are gonna look good in the and then these shit. Shout out to Michael Guerrero. What's good, Michael? Good to see you. I'm hearing the Texans might take Levis at 2. And that could be a possibility too. That's what I'm saying. Like everybody got their different thing, right? So Eric, what are your options if we are win now mode? Rodgers, CJ Stroud, or Bryce Young is your only three options if you're going all in as the best chance to win now. It depends if they're trying to win now. I think that uh I think that if you want to win now, you would go for most likely either of them. I think all of them. If you're not trying to win now, I mean, you would keep Stidham right behind a Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, or start Stidham and have like a rookie behind him. I mean, I think that's the way that you would go if you're not winning now. If you're trying to build, but I think that they are trying to win. I mean, they haven't done a lot of significant moves to tell me that we're not winning now. I think that Derek Carr leaving doesn't really significant doesn't really say rebuild until I see other players go. But I do think that in the next coming weeks, especially in free agency, we'll see who comes and goes, and we'll see the official word on the Raiders, and to see where the Raiders lie in all of this, right? I've been saying this from the start. Ziegler likes playing with draft capital. I don't think we're gonna have 11 picks come draft day. I do think we trade, and I do think something's proved. I think a lot of things are brewing. I said this last offseason, and I'm gonna bring it back again. Something's brewing. I just don't know what it is, but something's brewing. Oh, now you want me here when you realize mock drafts are dubbed great for content discussion, but useless, and that's what it is, JT. I already said it. I learned my lesson last year of doing mock draft. I've only done one mock draft, and it's been only one official mock draft, and it wasn't live. It was on a slide I did before. It was 2 lives ago where I had a couple people that I had on my list. I'm hearing that I already read that. Let me see. Shout out to D Menace. What's good, D Menace? Win now mode is Rodgers. Period. Ain't not way we draft a quarterback to start and call it win now mode. Yeah. It just depends what they do in the next couple of weeks, right? Shout out to Arkham Raider. What's good, Arkham? Good to see you. Shout out to Lord Rachitas in the building. Raider, Legis, Lunatic Raiders in the building. Oh, here, not here. Okay, okay. Drafting a rookie quarterback, that means you don't want to win now. It depends. It depends. And it all depends on the asking price. I'm not giving Aaron Rodgers a first round or a second round, bro. If I'm being honest, I'm giving the Packers a second and a third and fifth round. A third and fifth round for Aaron Rodgers. I ain't giving shit from first and second. If the Packers call me up and say, "Hey, Raiders, give us your second pick and your third and your fifth," I'm gonna give you a big fuck you. I ain't giving you no first or second round pick. Got me fucked up if you think you're gonna get a first or second from the Raiders, bro. I'll be surprised if they give up a first second. I ain't giving shit. If I was the Raiders, I ain't giving shit. Rather draft a quarterback for the long haul than get Rodgers for just 2 years, possibly. And that's what you could do too, that Raiders fan. Get a veteran and draft a rookie behind him, and we'll be good for the future because the rookie will be learning behind. I'd we say a BSDA holding out. I don't think he's gonna be holding out, man. I'm down on drafted a card. Just checked my receipt when I was leaving at Walmart. Goddamn. Don't risk our future for a quarterback who will only be here for 2 years. That too. That's why I don't want to give a first or second. I mean, if you just give a second, then it's like, but I'm giving a third and fifth. In my opinion, I think Rodgers as of right now is worth a third and fifth. People may call me crazy, but I might say third and fifth. And like the Raider fan says here, Pack is gonna want a first and second. I'm gonna give him a big fuck you to the to Green Bay. Green Bay Packers, fuck you if you want a first and second, bro. I ain't giving you shit, jack shit. I don't think Dave Ziegler is gonna give you jack shit either. He ain't gonna give you no goddamn first round or second round, bro. You take a third and a fifth, and you could call it a day. Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to play for you no more, bro. Just give it up, bro. Just fucking give it up, bro. Adams didn't want to play for you, and now you guys are going to a rebuilding phase. You guys are going to a rebuilding phase, bro. You couldn't even make the playoffs with a better roster than 75% of the NFC. Let me see. He said it. God damn, y'all roasting in the chat, man. Um, exactly, Eric. A Brett Favre went for guys. Let's talk about. You guys want to talk about quarterbacks? Look at. Well, that's what we're talking about, right? Look at the quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. Two different stories, but similar at the same time. Different, but same way, same, right? Jalen Hurts, if you remember his rookie season, he got benched by Minshew Mania because he wasn't playing to expectations. But he still learned. But he did. Hurts did start the season, but he ended up getting benched for Minshew, a veteran. And then Jalen Hurts came back and learned under Minshew. And then look at what happened. Now you look at Patrick Mahomes. Even though he was a first round guy, he sat behind Alex Smith. He sat behind a veteran quarterback for a year or two. If I'm not mistaken, it was like a year or two that he sat behind Alex Smith. And then Alex Smith ended up going through injury prone. And then he was done with the Chiefs. And then Patrick Mahomes had to start. And he was already learning the Kansas City Chief way. And look at what happened. Who would have known the boy from Wyoming was going to be that goddamn good? But that's because he sat behind. Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre. A lot of these good quarterbacks have sat behind somebody. Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, he's been getting injury prone. Tyler Huntley. The guy made the Pro Bowl don't mean shit no more, but Tyler Huntley sat behind Lamar Jackson and he did a pretty good job with the Ravens when he started. Brock Purdy sat behind Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance. Trey Lance sat behind Jimmy Garoppolo and they all won games. At the end of the day, a lot of these quarterbacks have sat behind. Shout out to Raider Ben. Gotta get dinner started. Y'all have a great night. Hey, have a good night too, Raider Ben. Shout out to you, brother. Hope all is well. I really want Stroud as our quarterback. Only way to get him is if he swap with Arizona at 3. There's a big chance that Arizona might go defense though. There might be a big chance that the Arizona might go defense. And shout out to Terrence. Yep, get them likes up, man. Get them likes up. Get them likes up. I don't know where we're at, but we got 43 people in here, man. If you guys can hit that like button for me, it'll be greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. Let me see. Let me see. What are the likes at? Let me check. Let me check. What are the likes at? What are the likes? Let's get the likes up. Let's get the likes up. Let me see. Oh shit. Let's get it to 50 likes. Let's get it to 50 likes. Well, we don't have 50 people in here. Let's get it to 40, 45, 45. Let's get it to 45 at least. Um, let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me actually look at. Let me see. I would love Jalen Carter at 7. It's a possibility. The Rays will either likely go linebacker or DT with the first round. We'll see. It depends. I don't think a linebacker at 7 is too smart. Strauss from the 909. Yeah, Stroud would be fine. I wouldn't be mad if they draft Stroud. Shout out to Jaw Raider in the building. Was good, Jaw Raider. Good to see you. Hope all is well. Shout out to everybody in here. But yeah. So what would you guys do? What would you guys do? I don't even like. There's the plan A, plan B, plan C. Let me see. How do you manage? God damn. Let me see. Mm, there's a difference between Andy Reid and a real proven coach and an unproven coach. Yeah, there's a lot of difference between an unproven and proven coach in the league. Shout out to Angel. What's good, Angel? Good to see you. Hope all is well. I don't care who our quarterback is, as long as it's not Jimmy G. I agree with you there, bro. I agree with you there. Exactly. Rodgers hold leverage what he wants to play. Green Bay don't want a disgruntled quarterback paying him 50 million. Facts. Facts. Eric, you see, sorry, hold on. You see, what happened to? Let me see. Eric, you see that monster right tackle, DeWall Joe, 6'8", 380 pounds, that Senior Bowl dominant. You're talking about the Ohio State guy. I think I drafted him too on my first official mock draft. I think I had him in the fourth, fifth round. Yeah, I like Dewan Jones a lot. I think. I mean, you said it there, bro. The guy is big as shit, bro. Like the guy has a lot of abilities to be a good tackle in the league. It's just when would you draft him and what's his official? Like what are we gonna do in free agency? Because we got there Munford, right? Already an Ohio State guy. And if you go into free agency and you establish that right tackle spot, then it's like you don't really necessarily need somebody like Dewan Jones, right? That's only if you know. Shout out to Vic Sacramento. He said Plan B. But shout out to you guys, man. Hit that like button, like I said, man. Hit that like button. But yeah, I just think that there's a lot of ways to go about it, right? But yeah, shit. Let me see if I missed anything. No, that's pretty much been it, to be honest. I don't know what if I'm missing any news. I think the next the next thing is free agency that is up next, if I'm not mistaken. Let me actually double check. March 15th. So in about exactly a month, 30 days. I think a month from now. Free agency will start. So let me see actually significant dates. Hold up. NFL significant dates. Give me a second. What the fuck? Oh, here we go. Here, let me actually share my screen on this one. Can you guys see that? Is that too little? Oh shit. Where's 2023? Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Can you guys see that? Let me zoom in a little. Is that better? Can you guys see it now? Let me actually take off this. Let me see. Take this off. Where the fuck is it? Hmm. Oh, here we go. Y'all see that? Good, 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 good. Okay, so January 7th. Cool, Kev. Cool, Kev. Put on your glasses. But as you see here, January 7th passed. Let's go to up to date right here. So who cares about this? Beginning this date through 4 p.m. New York time, which is East Coast time, on March 7th, clubs may designate franchise or transition players. So franchise tag starts the 21st. So the 21st of this month will officially they could officially franchise tag people. So this is when we're gonna start seeing people franchise tagging, um, seeing people accept their player options, stuff like that. So yeah, about 6 days from now. So next week, next week, next week, next week. Um, on top of that, from February 28th, which this is gonna be interesting, guys. I did the scouting combine last year, and I'm gonna do it again, and I'm gonna do it for sure. I know I said I was gonna do a senior boy to do it, but I'm gonna for sure do it because I'm not skipping this. Where it's like 5 hours a day. I grinded the shit out of it last year, bro. Last year, what did I do last year? How long was last year's combine live? Let me see. Let me actually check. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Give me a second. Let me look at my line. Let me scroll all the way down. I remember I did it every single day. I remember for a couple hours each time, bro. It was crazy. Let me see. That's the draft. Right before this. Where is it? Damn! Oh my god! Oh, it's crazy. It is. That's gonna be crazy. That we're gonna do. How do I say this? This was gonna be February 28th to March 6th is gonna be the days where I'm grinding the fuck out of YouTube. And what I mean is that every day I will be live on an average of 5 hours a day. And shout out to Angel for becoming a new member. If you want to become a new member, man, the Night Boss just put exclamation mark membership. Also, I made it only one tier, and it's very, very. I made it. I try to make it as affordable as possible, cheaper than the ones I had before. So if you guys can, and so if you guys want to support the channel, you guys don't have to. You guys just being here is most important. Is good for me. If you guys want to support the channel right here, membership, just like Angel did there. Shout out to Angel. I appreciate you. I gotta get new emotes, so key. But that February 28th, March 6th, I'm gonna be doing. Uh, no, I'm gonna be on every day. I'm gonna be on every day. Mark my words. I'm gonna be on every day. Um, an average of 5 hours a day. And I'm gonna bring on a lot of guests if they want to come by. We're gonna be, just talk about the combine, seeing who looks good, who doesn't. Um, but yeah, so last year I did a one. Let me see. One, two, three, 4 days. 4 days, and the first one was 7 hours. The second one was 7 hours and a half. The third one was 6 hours and a half, and the fourth was 5 hours. So an average of like 6.5 hours each day. And that's exactly what we're gonna do from February 28th to March 6th. Mark your calendars. The combine, 6 hours a day. A lot of the content creators you like are gonna be on the panel. I'm gonna bring them on and see if they want to chop it up and just talk about the combine in general. So the combine, remember, February 28th to March 6th. Besides that, another important day is this. This is when the deadline for the franchise tag, which is March 7th, which is the day after the last combine, which is 4 Eastern, which is 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Then the pro days start, which the pro days I don't really need a cover. I think I could just do a regular live, just covering it in total. Um, this doesn't really matter. This is just about the draftees. Deadline for clubs, blah 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 with physicals. Negotiation period. This is practically when free agency starts. March 13th to 15th. So from February 28th to March 15th, there's gonna be a lot of lives. A lot of lives on this channel. Not only the have a good one, JT. Not only the combine, but also the free agency. We're gonna be live every single day for free agency. SC morning hours, free agency, like we did last year. It's gonna be the same shit. I'm gonna have a fun time. Hey Eric, any receivers you're looking at in the draft? I like Ronnie Bell from Michigan. That's been somebody. Rasheed Rice from SMU. I really like that guy a lot too. Those are two guys that I would get later on. They're not necessarily first, second, third. Another guy that I list that's on the higher end is both Tennessee receivers in Tillman and Hyatt. Then you got Josh Downs from North Carolina, Parker Washington from Penn State, and A.T. Perry, I believe, from Wake Forest, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so um, March 15th is free agency practically. Then you got the rule is in effect that all clubs will be under the salary cap prior to 4 p.m. Eastern as well that day on March 15th. Then March 15th, the trading period officially begins as well. So trades could start being accepted and stuff like that that are accepted before that. Besides that, April 3rd, clubs that hired a new coach at the end of the 2022 regular season may begin off-season workouts. Clubs will return head coaches. Off-season workouts will begin in April, early April. Deadline for restricted free agents to sign offer sheets. Besides that, deadline for prior clubs for unrestricted free agents to sign the tender. And then May 1 is the fifth-year option for players selected in the first round of the 2020 draft. They get to exercise it, the deadline. Rookie camp, stuff like that. And I think I missed something. I don't know why it's not showing it. Uh, fucking, what's it called? In between all of that, the NFL draft is on the 28th of April. So right here. So we'll be live for that too. We'll be live for that too. Those 3 days. Couple hours each live. So there's gonna be a lot of things to look forward to. A lot of things to look out this spoon. That boy with the spoon from Illinois, man. I like him a lot as well. So those are just some important things. And important things coming to the channel. Combine, draft, free agency, multiple days, consistent, multiple hours. So I'm gonna make sure I'm prepared for that. I'm gonna make sure I'm prepared for that. So there's a lot to look forward to in the next 2 months. In the next 60 days. There's a lot to look forward to. Besides that, I mean, there's nothing much else, man. I appreciate you guys for being here. My next live, my next live will be, I think over the weekend. I think over the weekend, I think the West Side Experience needs to come back. I'll talk to Ern about it over the weekend and just talk about everything. So I think that would be the next show on Saturday, early Saturday. We'll see what happens though, or early afternoon Saturday. It depends. Besides that, next week will be live too. I'm not taking no 13 days no more. But then after that, like I said, the 28th of February is gonna be go time, man. 6 hours average live for 4 days straight, and then the free agency and stuff like that is gonna be interesting. Shout out to the dude in the Dark Atheist was good. So it's gonna be a lot of things to look at. Besides that, I appreciate you guys for being here, man. Like I said, please hit that like button on the way out, man. Subscribe if you're new, man. We're about to hit 1,700, I believe. Yeah, we're about to hit 1,700, man. About less than 20 away. So I appreciate you guys on that. And we're back, man. We're back. So I appreciate you guys for being here. I know a lot of people didn't think I was gonna go live just because I've been taking a long break, but it's not gonna be a long break no more. On that note, yeah, blessings to you guys and your families. Tough time never lasts, but tough people doing. You guys are some tough people. Shout out to Forehand. I appreciate you guys for being here. Like I said, hit that like button on the way out. Subscribe and stay tuned for the weekend when I'm gonna do a show, regardless of what happens. And on that note, y'all, blessings. Have a great night. He said, "Is Eric growing a fro?" No, I am not. I am not growing a fro. Glad you're back, Eric. Back from the darkness retreat. Yeah, you already know, man. I'm back. I'm back. Shout out to you, Angel. Shout out to everybody that's here, man. But yeah, shout out to Thomas Hernandez and shout out to the Lakers. You already know they made some moves that I didn't get to talk about, but the Lakers did make some moves, man. Some good ass moves, in my opinion. But yeah, shout out to you guys, man. Blessings. Have a good one, y'all. This was the S Experience, aka boy Eric, man, and I am out. Peace.